policy issues that you're working on or that you're focused on to better serve your client bases?
Well, since I have policy for her, I think I'll take that on. So in general, I guess if I could just sort of take it to a pretty high level, the policy initiatives that we're most concerned about are initiatives that provide vehicles for savings and for asset building in general. And so those can take a number of forms, as I had mentioned earlier with April's question. But in general, what we'd like to see are some federal mandates or encouragement of the private sector to provide a variety of savings products for low-income people. And so right now, the current situation is that you basically have a market failure, which I think is what Opportunity Fund really tries to address, and Women's Initiative to a certain extent as well. So you have people who are in certain income brackets for whom the kinds of products that we avail ourselves of are not actually available within the private sector. And so what we want to be able to see, particularly with this administration, is encouragement among financial services groups to provide no interest checking accounts or savings accounts that have some limitations on them, but really allow people to build their assets, and people of low income.
So a number of the things that we brought up earlier as part of the economic stimulus package, the SBA was decimated in the last 8 years. It's just really, which is shocking, right? It doesn't make sense. But so we have a lot of different efforts to beef up the Small Business Administration. And then there's another thing that was mentioned was this tax credit for people who are self-employed, which I think, as you all probably know, if you start your own business, you actually get hit really heavily. And what we're trying to do is get something through where the first 4 to 5 years you actually kind of get a credit back for the double. You have to pay both you and the employer's part of the taxes and all for payroll taxes, a number of things like that. So get some tax credits for people who are starting their own businesses. We also have some very radical things that we are working on. So for domestic violence survivors, women automatically get legal citizenship status if it all works out, that they do things in the right way. We actually want to kind of use that as a precedent and as an example and say, if you hire 2 employees, you should be able to get legal status in the United States because you're contributing to the economy. The other thing is, there's been, folks know what the Community Reinvestment Act is. So, there was of course, there was a point in time when there was redlining where, if you lived, in a certain area or you were a certain color, you couldn't get loans. And what's been shocking and we've always been part of our California's community reinvestment efforts and that committee that's really kind of holding banks accountable for their behavior as lenders. But one of the things that's unfortunately happened with this crisis in the last 6 to 12 months is some people were like blaming the Community Reinvestment Act for this. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that does not get washed away because it's a really important resource. And there are no teeth in it anyway, so you can't blame the act. But what it is we all get together with the banks and say, okay, how are you performing? Are you doing, one of the things that's shocking is if you are African American, you do not get an SBA loan in California. There's just certain things that, we watch and see and fight about all the time. We can't do anything about it. We can't. There's not truly any deregulation or anything that happens where you strip a bank of any opportunities and resources. But so anyway.
And one last thing too, I think that we've talked a lot about the policy that can benefit the clients. Just to reiterate one thing about the CDFI program as well, I think that we try to get as much support from the government and more money into that program because that funnels through financial institutions like us and then into the clients as well. So there's something system-wide about capitalizing us as organizations that's very important.